Thank you for coming, and thank you for the press who have came. Each of you should have received a packet so that you would see what I have been referencing from my council seat. I'm Tanya Burns, 6th Ward City Council, and I want to begin by saying this. On November the 11th, City Council went 346 rounds. 4 for Jonathan Jarrett, 4 for Candace Mushatt. We picked up at 346 yesterday to continue up into round 411. That one was still 4-4 deadlock, 4 for Winfrey-Carter, 4 for Mushatt. At 7:02 p.m., quorum was broke by the former president of Flint City Council, former vice president of Flint City Council, and the former finance chair.
She done me like that, so I already know. I think she done me like that. She did. She bumped her. She bumped into Gladys.
Why is she even back here?
She just did it on purpose.
Why is she even back here, man?
Okay, I'm sorry, I gave it to the press. And we know we've had that bump-in problem with several people before. We have had that. Okay, so yeah, I want to finish so we can do this because we are on a time. She did. Okay, so I want to go on to. Please in the back, the press won't be able to hear us. If Sister Audrey Muhammad could take care of Ms. Gladys and Ms. Carol McIntosh, I would greatly appreciate it, and Billy Dancer, thank you. So on November 25th, we were deadlocked. Again, currently we are at a 4-4 deadlock. What does our city charter state? What are our issues? I gave packets to everyone. This is the first time in Flint City Council history that our Flint City Charter is not aligned with our council rules. Our former council rule, before it was changed on April the 4th, April 2/22, 2024, it stated, this is Rule 3.1, that the council shall have a president and a vice president, each chosen by a majority of council persons for a term which shall end on the second Monday in November. That's what it had stated. It had always been aligned with our city charter. It has been, so our city charter states under section 3-103, Organization of City Council. Under that, it states the president shall be elected to a term of 1 year, period. What they have added to Rule 3.1 states 3.1, this is which was voted on April 22, 2024. The City Council shall have a vice president chosen by a majority of the council members elect for a term which shall end on the second Monday in November. There's now a comma, or until a successor is elected. So when that change was made, it directly conflicts with our city charter. The city charter ends and there's a period. It stops. It does not say until a successor. There's no mechanism to stop what happened at yesterday's meeting or on the 11th. What is happening is that they're breaking quorum in order to keep the positions as president, vice president, and finance chair. That's a direct violation of our charter. The charter says 12 months, not 12 months 1 week, not 12 months 2 days. It says 12 months, period. This mechanism that they're using is a violation. It clearly states that if you need to change the charter, there's a process to amend the Flint City Charter. The Flint Charter Review Commission reviews the charter and makes recommendations for changes. The commission's recommendations are then put to a vote by registered voters. If the amendment passes, these changes were not put to registered voters. They were not. And with this, what is happening is that they are circumventing the Flint City Charter with a loophole to maintain those positions of president, vice president, finance chair. And that's wrong. I have asked for legal opinions for the past 3 to 4 weeks. In written form, I have not received them. I have contacted for outside independent legal. I should be receiving those by the beginning of next week. We do not have, at this point, independent attorneys who are working for the council. We do not. I'm going to step aside to let my colleagues, and I have here with me Councilwoman Jerri Winfrey-Carter. She's our senior most council member, and Councilman Jonathan Jarrett. I'm going to step aside.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Burns.
Thank you, Councilwoman Burns. And I'm gonna piggyback off of what Councilwoman Burns have stated here. The charter is clear, it's crystal clear. The council president and vice president must be elected to a one-year term, and that's on the second Monday of November of every year. We've never had this issue. Additionally, like the councilwoman in the 6th ward stated, I must highlight the critical condition, whereas, and I believe the charter was, not the charter, but our council rules were voted on in 2023 as opposed to 2024 when they changed the successor rule. And it's right here. No, here it is. February of 2027, we voted.
And then it was adopted on this day.
Okay, and it may have,
Yep, it became effective this day.
Yeah, it became effective. So that's when it was written and we voted in February 27th, 2023. But regardless of that,
The time is now 3:15.
Regardless of that.
Please take their elected seats.
just rude, just rude. This is what we're dealing with. This is exactly what we're dealing with. Just rude. But I want to point out, as a council member, and as a council member that is committed to making sure that we abide by the charter, I'm just gonna put it on the record. I will not be sitting for this meeting. I will not be sitting for this meeting. She is no longer the president, and she should not be calling this meeting to order. She don't even have a quorum, and she don't even have a quorum.
We won't fail. We won't fail. We won't fail. We won't fail. We won't fail.
These are some of the things that we have been dealing with. The disrespect. Okay? The blatant disrespect. The lies. The corruption. And this is what they're trying to cover up. The corruption. We need the residents to come down. Come down to the chamber. Come to a council meeting so you can see it firsthand. You need to see this. It's petty. She called a meeting for today and knew that a press conference was being held. It was already scheduled.
Attorney, we need for you to take your seats and the rest of the council members so we can proceed with the business of the city.
I'm gonna let our councilman in the 9th Ward speak if he wants to. Councilman Jarrett.
You have multi-million-dollar to pass, lots of infrastructure, and so since our colleagues call the meeting, you can sit there and continue.
So, good afternoon, all. Thank you for coming out. There is a lot that can be spoken to with regard to the way that meetings have been conducted, with the ways that as not just ourselves as council peers, but also the community has been impacted. That said, it is time that we as leaders lead in a way that is but to say respectful is far below what should be the standard. The standard with which we have been operating is low. And for those of us that call ourselves leaders, it's time to be more than a leader by title only. Matter of fact, it's time for those of us that are leaders to not worry about a title and just lead and do what needs to be done in our roles to be effective. Now, this is the thing, this is where we are by way of impasse. And seemingly there are 4 and 4 with the votes. Not seemingly, that's the reality with regard to the president's role. 4-4. Now, for any of us in this room that have been in any or at any tables where there was any form of negotiation, you recognize that no one side gets everything that they want. But again, real leaders and leadership understands that, and they identify ways to work between and around such that a common goal is accomplished. We can continue to do this 4-4, 4-4, 4-4, whatever, and then continue to call special meeting, continue to call special meeting to circumvent, special meeting to circumvent. The time is now, because we've seen what leadership has looked like over the past 12 months. I don't know that there's tolerance for that same type of leadership moving forward. The time is now to do different and to be different under a leadership that pulls people together, not continues to foster division. That said, I'll yield the podium and let one of my colleagues have their final remarks.
At this time, because I want to be fair to everyone, if there are any questions, what we look for is a solution. One of the solutions and the remedy is that we need to make sure the people spoke, which they're not validating the election. It was not certified. So one of the things is a remedy is asking for an election for that third ward so we could fill that seat. It does not need to be opened up. There were 4 people. They did speak. People spoke. But they will not. The State Board of Elections has stated they will not certify that race. So where do we go from there? We need to ask and petition them to have an earlier election. It's went all the way to the Supreme Court. That's the highest court in Michigan. So we need to ask for a remedy for in the next 30 days to have an election. The state of elections state that there's only 3 times we can have an election. That's May, August, and November. We need to have one sooner because we're going to unfortunately be at a 4-4 split. I will say most of the 4 that generally I vote with, we vote with what's right for the community. I vote for what's on the other side if it's right for the community. I always do. If it's something going to serve the city, and that's where we should all be, and unfortunately, we are not. So if there's any questions anyone has.
When is the law going to be enforced as far as the city attorney goes? When will the law be enforced concerning the officers? Because if you are an officer and you are being allowed to break the law, how can you hold somebody else responsible? Have those issues been addressed? And what about the insurrection that took place? Have any of those people been spoken to?
It has not been to date. I have personally only spoken to the detective. Nothing has, but October the 14th, when there was a conspiracy to incite a riot, no one has been charged at all to date. There were 12 people. There's a videotape stating that the council president asked them to come down here and was happy. I played the video. It's on Instagram and Facebook, and nothing has been done to date. Are there any other questions? I'm gonna let my colleagues wrap up. Well, you know, it's really embarrassing because she did bump into Gladys. I was standing here and saw her. I was looking, and that's not the first time. So, are there any, you want to wrap up? I'm going to turn over to Councilwoman Winfrey-Carter.
So, like my colleague stated, we are now at a complete stalemate with a 4-4 vote. So, and I always like to say deadlock. 3-3. If we cannot come to an agreement for a president, how are we going to be able to appoint a third ward council person, a council member? Right. So with that, the clerk, our city clerk, I would expect her to petition the state so that we can have an earlier election, so that the people of the third ward can elect their council member. Because we're not going to be able to agree. You already know, we can't even agree on a president. So, any questions? Councilman Jarrett, do you have anything else to say? Okay. So what I need the residents, I need everyone to come down. Come to your council chamber. The council chamber is for the residents. Stand up. Stand up for your rights. We need your help. Stand up for the disrespect that's being held in these council chambers. Stand up. For your rights as a citizen. And that's how I'm going to end. Stand up for your rights. Thank you.
So the time is now 3:28, and since we have a quorum within our chambers, let's go ahead and have the colleagues in attendance start the meeting. We're asking for all colleagues to please take their elected seats so we can proceed with having the business of the city. If our colleagues can call a special press conference for 3 o'clock, they can stay for a couple of extra minutes so we can pass monumental infrastructure dollars for their wards. Ward 5, Ward 8, 1, and 2. And also the others. So we can make sure that we pass $32 million of medical debt relief.
Have you seen the movie Home Alone?
The time is now 3:30, and the Flint City Council meeting is now being brought to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk. We're asking for the residents that are yelling out in the back to please be quiet so we can proceed with our meeting. Miss Audrey Muhammad. Madam Clerk, roll call, please. Present. All right, so we have, I believe, Councilwoman Jerri Winfrey-Carter, she's also in the chamber, so that's 5. Attorney Burns is also in the chamber, so that's 6.
They gotta be sitting up there with
They're present. Officers, can we please have order in the back of the chamber, please?
Ms. Winstead, we are in the middle of a meeting and you are interrupted. Can you please go take a seat in the audience? Thank you. You are in the middle of a officer. I ask her to please stop interrupting our meeting.
Officers? Officers? Thank you. Ma'am, please have a seat. Exit the chamber. We had word call. Thank you. Ms. Rita Stanley, thank you. Could you please move so so we can proceed with our meeting.